This is the Farm Monitor. For over 50 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by one of the largest general farm organizations, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now here are your hosts, Ray DeLessio and Kenny Bergamy.
Oh, come all ye faithful. As we say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you and yours. So glad you can be with us for our final show of 2021, and it's a special one at that.
That's right, our annual Reporter Favorites edition. The stories we here at the Monitor enjoyed most in 2021. Case in point, this one from back in March. John Holcomb on the extreme lengths one Georgia artist went through to ensure his children's book about dairy was as accurate as possible. They may originate in Scotland, but this particular group of cattle is located in Henry County. Damon Jones profiles Family Roots Farm and explains the lengths they go to in order to maintain their prized belted Galloways.
Plus, maybe one of my favorite stories ever here on the Farm Monitor, our one-on-one with former Atlanta Brave Jeff Francoeur. Not about baseball though, nope. This conversation is about blueberries and how Jeff got bitten by the ag bug. Reporter Favorites of 2021 starts right now on the Farm Monitor. For artist Ward Jenkins, what started out as just another job turned into a lot more than what he expected when he agreed to illustrate the book Tales of a Dairy Godmother. What he found was a new appreciation for the ag industry, one that would never happened if he hadn't agreed to do the book. Our John Holcomb explains.
It was a special time in Newton County recently as Tales of the Dairy Godmother, a children's book about the dairy industry, turned 1 year old. It was definitely special for Ward Jenkins, the man behind the illustrations in the book. Jenkins is an artist from the suburbs who, before starting this project, had never stepped foot on a farm in his life and had to visit a few dairy farms before he could get started. And one of those farms just so happened to be in Newton County.
I toured 3 different farms, one of them being Rock House Creamery, and then 2 others, all with different sizes, which is also important. So you can see the similarities, but the differences where whereas the Rock House had a creamery, where they actually processed the milk, and for me that I didn't know that, I did not understand what that meant. So that was actually important. So going through the actual physical walking through the farms and seeing it firsthand in person was very important. I took many photos, took some video to see, and I asked a lot of questions, and the farmers are great. And for me, I approached it as like, I'm basically like that inquisitive kid in class who's always raising their hand. It's like, well, where's the milk, where's the milk come from? How does ice cream, get to be ice cream? And so I took that approach in making this book, because that's basically what I want to know. I want to know about the process of how we get milk to become ice cream.
If you take a look through the pages, you can see all the detail that went into the illustrations, which to no one's surprise took some time. But Jenkins says it was necessary to make the book as accurate as possible. That way kids won't have any misconceptions.
Whether it may not be part of the story, it was still important for at least, especially for what Feeding Minds wanted to portray, is to make sure that these books are accurate, so they can see that there are a lot of things that go into, especially like safety and testing and that sort of thing when it comes to milk and the processing itself. I think it's important for kids to be able to see the information, the details in the making of the process of milk, because I know that farmers would want to see that. And there's a great appreciation again of the connection between what farmers do, what cows provide, and for the children to be able to understand and fully appreciate the entire process of milk processing into ice cream.
The goal of the book is, of course, to teach kids a little about how the dairy industry works. And while that hopefully will be the case, one thing we know for sure is that Jenkins himself now has a better understanding of the industry and a new appreciation for ag, a wish that no one saw coming, except for maybe the dairy godmother.
Meeting the farmers, getting up close with the cows, being in person on the farms was my favorite thing. I mean, yeah, it's nice to have free ice cream, but the best thing for me was this entire experience has been fantastic, just because I have an incredible appreciation for the ag industry, especially the dairy farmers.
Reporting in Mansfield for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
Family Roots Farm in Henry County. It is anything but a conventional cattle business. For one, they're located just 25 miles south of Atlanta. Number two, they raise a breed of cattle that is native to the land of bagpipes and the Loch Ness Monster. Damon Jones looks at this unique farming operation where the entire family has a hand in its success.
What started off as just a seed of an idea back in college has now grown into this family-owned and operated cattle business just outside of Atlanta, and it's done so in a relatively short amount of time.
My wife, she used to see these Belted Galloways when she was in college at UGA, and she's like, I would like to have one of those cows that I used to see all the time. So we bought our first cow, I think it was about 4 years ago, and from there it just blossomed into the operation that we have today.
I just thought they were beautiful cows, and the more I learned about the actual breed and how docile they are and how fun they are to be around. And once you get one, you have to have another one, and it just kind of blossoms into the whole herd.
And blossom it has, as this family-run operation is now overseeing more than 60 head of a very distinctive breed of cattle.
This breed is unique because it originates from Scotland. It's a Scottish breed. The Belted Galloways and the Highlanders both come from Scotland. So it's not your conventional British and continental breeds, like you normally would see on a farm around here.
Because this breed is not typically seen around the state, they are a little more difficult to come by. That means there has been plenty of traveling to get the numbers where they are today.
They are a little bit harder to find. We have gotten one all the way from Rhode Island. Another one I bought came from Vermont. We've had a couple from North Carolina, some from Alabama. So we've traveled all over trying to get some different genetics in.
Getting the cows to the farm is just the beginning, as they must be taken care of every single day in order to keep them healthy and happy.
We have to manage to get out every evening and make sure each pasture is taken care of. It's always something. Somebody's due to calve, somebody's limping. You got to get more fly control on them. But in the long run, I do it because I enjoy it, and it's just become a passion of mine.
Despite the long hours, it is well worth it to the Craig family, as they can unwind from the stress of their daytime jobs and school.
I just love coming out here in the evening. I work a full-time job, and when I come out here, I just relax. I feed them, I talk to them. They all have names. They're all more of pets to me, but they eat out of my hand. But at the same time, it's a business operation.
The key word in the company name is family, as each member has their role in the success of the operation.
My daughter's involved. She helps with all the business, all the paperwork on the computer with when they've had vaccines and when they've been bred and when they're due. My son helps with the day-to-day operations. So it really is a family operation.
We hope that we're building a legacy that both our children can continue on in years to come.
Reporting from Henry County, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
Well, from baseball to blueberries, one might say former Atlanta Brave Jeff Francoeur is well-rounded. After the break, a look back at Ray's one-on-one conversation with the former big leaguer and the business he now co-owns with his father-in-law.
His journey in Major League Baseball took him to 8 teams over 14 seasons, 6 of those with the Atlanta Braves. Now retired and serving as a Braves TV analyst, Jeff Francoeur finds himself on a different journey. Co-owner of Major League Blueberries in Nichols, Georgia, along with father-in-law Malcolm and business partner Win Morgan. Back in April, the Monitor was invited to spend the day with Jeff, where he not only sat down with us for a lengthy conversation, but also acted as our personal tour guide for a first-hand look at the farm's daily operation. It is my favorite story of 2021. So Jeff, right off the bat, pun intended.
Yeah.
How does a kid who grew up outside of Atlanta, successful Major League Baseball career. How does he wind up on a blueberry farm? Give us a timeline. How did you get involved in agriculture?
I'm still asking that question myself. You know what? In 2015, I was with the Philadelphia Phillies playing, and my father-in-law retired from the pharmaceutical business, was sick of that whole life and wanted to farm. And they had 600 acres in their family, so he went to this conference in Savannah, met Win Morgan, who is a third-generation blueberry farmer with their family down here in Douglas. Get to short story, he ended up calling me and saying, hey, do you want to go check this farm out? And would you want to put 60 acres of blueberries in? Well, I started looking at blueberries. I knew nothing about them. And I came down here and saw this piece of property and fell in love with it. And I said, I will learn what I need to learn along the way, but I'm in. And 60 acres started to 200, what we have now.
One thing about farmers, Malcolm, they are brutally honest. So I need you to be brutally honest with me. Working with your son-in-law, how's that going?
And I'll be brutally honest, it's going great, and I'll tell you why, okay? Because when our third partner runs this whole show, I come down and morally support him, and I do a little bit of work, okay? Jeff honestly is like a silent partner because he's so busy with 4 kids and living his life and being a Braves broadcaster and doing all the things he does, that he really is a silent partner. And he is a very supportive silent partner.
There's a lot of humility between his ears, and he gives people the time of day. He spends time during the harvest season getting to know people that work here at the farm. He invests in people, and so I think that's the biggest part for him is he wants people to know that he really does care about them, and he shows them that. So he's a special partner to have in that, and Malcolm the same way.
As mentioned, you know, you're a kid from the suburbs.
Yeah.
You could be doing a lot of things right now. I mean,
Yeah.
but you are doing the broadcasting thing. You could be hitting coach somewhere. You could be involved in the majors, but yet you're here on the farm. What was that aha moment for you, Jeff, when you said to yourself, man, I really love this ag thing?
You know what? I think anybody that comes down here, I've always told them you have to get on a tractor and you have to drive around for a couple hours. No phone, nothing, nobody to bother you, put the music on, and there's something peaceful about it. And you know, I love being outdoors first off. So, you know, between golf, coaching my kids, running, I love being outside. But when you come down here, man, there's something about connecting with the earth, you know, seeing these plants start like this big and these things, and now they're 8 feet tall during harvest and have 7-8 pounds, you know, on a plant. And to experience that, I'll tell you what, it makes your heart get going, and I love every second of it. Blueberries, you guys really picked an interesting commodity to go into, because blueberry is one of the hardest things to grow, and you have to deal with so many things. What has been the biggest thing that you've learned? What's been the biggest lesson that you've learned from it all?
The biggest lesson is that you learn that farming is a 24/7, 365 a year operation. And you know, there's some downtime after harvest, and there's some downtime in the winter months. But the reality is you're running a multi-million-dollar business every day by the decisions that you're making. And those decisions can be good and bad, and they're going to impact your ability to produce fruit and to make an income.
The investment and getting your investment back out of a farm, it takes a long time in agriculture. And so that's been part of a learning curve for them getting involved in the farm, that it takes a while. But now that it's here and we're cash flowing and things are better, it's more relaxed than it would be if we're not cash flowing. I can tell you that.
When you look at what you're going through here with the business and on the farm, and then your major league career, Jeff, are there any comparisons? You know, there was so much pressure to perform on the field, pressure to perform out here. Do you see any correlation between the two? Well, look, farming's a tough business, and I'm sure you've heard that from numerous people. You know, it's very fulfilling when you're out here and you realize that you go to the grocery store and you see people buying your blueberries and buying what you've done and the hard work. But like anything, at the end of the day, it is a business. And
You know, I think we've gotten frozen out in 2018. I never knew what the heck that was. We ended up putting frost protection because I'm like, I can't go through that. You got 2 million pounds out here and you get a freeze. I can't stomach that. The COVID last year, getting H2A workers over here, it was tough. I mean, we left a lot of fruit on these bushes last year because we didn't have enough people to pick. So learning that, it's a business, you see it. But I think the one cool thing, the satisfaction, is the challenge of every day you come here and there might be something new on the farm. But I feel like by 7:30 that night, we've conquered that, we've picked our berries, and you can sit out here on the porch, watch the sun go down in this beautiful field, and realize, you know, it's been a heck of a day.
Hey everybody, Ranger Nick. Coming up, I'm taking aim at an important 4-H program in Georgia that involves archery and shotguns, and we're keeping things on target next. Well, I don't know about you, but when I think about 4-H, maybe I think about public speaking, maybe I think about livestock competitions, but probably you don't think about shooting sports, archery, shotgun. It was new to me before today, and I want to introduce you to somebody who knows a thing or two about archery, and that's Danny Pincus. Hey, Danny. Hey. Good to meet you. I'm so glad to be out here with you today. We're here at Rock Eagle 4-H Center. Danny, you're a 16-year veteran archery coach here in Georgia. Right. You know a lot about this stuff. I know nothing about many things, but I know nothing about archery. And in Georgia, 4th through 12th graders are involved in this stuff. Danny, I'm going to be a 4th grader today. I want you to help walk me through the process of being safe and being able to pick up this compound bow and shoot it into that target over there. So what do we got to do first?
First thing we want to do is make sure we're safe, make sure we're putting you in the proper equipment for you.
Good.
So
okay.
we've already checked eye dominance. Okay. Right. And the next thing we need to do, we know you're left eye dominant.
Which is interesting to learn. I'm right-handed, but Danny taught me I'm left eye dominant. Cool, okay.
Yep. Next thing we want to do is make sure our arrows are long enough for you to use. Right. So I'm going to touch you in your chest, reach out with your hands, and the arrow comes past his fingertips. Therefore, this arrow is safe enough for him to use.
Excellent.
Because if it was too short, bad things happen.
The arrow would fall off the end of the bow.
Correct. Okay. You would pull farther than the arrow is long.
Into my foot, that's right.
Okay, so we know you're left-hand dominant, so we're going to set you up with a left-handed bow.
All right. Now, what is so interesting that you said a left-handed bow, yet I'm holding this compound bow, 4-H green, by the way, with my right hand, okay?
Right, because you're going to do most of your work with your left hand.
All right.
Okay, so what we want to do is come back here and we want to stand in front of the target.
That's important, in front of the target.
In front of the target.
Yes.
Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to rotate to where we're square with the target.
So
instead of facing the target the other way.
Okay.
You're left-handed, so let's go a little bit more right here. Now, go back towards the target. There you go. Excellent. You hit the target with your first shot.
And not a car in the background.
That is awesome. Right, right.
Now, isn't this important? I know nothing about this, and yet Danny has encouraged me with his feedback. You saw the way he was giving me personal attention and teaching me this. Literally, before now, I have never done this. We didn't practice this. So being able to get that kind of mentoring, that kind of individual attention, you have worked with kids that have gone on to national competitions doing this, that knew nothing to start.
That knew nothing.
It's incredible. That's the power of 4-H in this kind of thing. I want to move next to shotgun sports. Oh goodness, they're going to put a gun in my hand now. You saw the way I was with a bow. Danny, this is great. Let's check that out next. Well, from bows and arrows to shotguns and shells, you know, I was a 4th grader before, and now I'm a 7th grader, obviously grown a little bit. And I've also grown to become a friend with Dr. Brian Keeper. Hey, Dad.
Hey.
Dr. Keeper is an associate professor of poultry science at UGA during the day.
I
and
am.
On the side, you are a 14-year veteran Project Safe shotgun coach. Is that right?
That is correct.
So to have a person like this today to walk me through using a firearm, we are going to assume today, Doc, I have never touched one of these things before, and I think that's what's so important for the folks at home. This is something in 4-H that someone with no experience in this can do and learn how to do it safely. So Doc, I've heard about this idea of MAT, in the context of working with a firearm like this. Walk me through that before I'm about to pick this up.
Okay, Nick. So you know, M stands for muzzle. Okay. We're always going to know where the muzzle of this shotgun is pointed to be safe. A stands for action. This action area of the shotgun is where the shell goes in. As long as that action is open, Nick, that gun is safe. It can't fire. And ultimately, T is trigger. We never put our finger on that trigger till we're ready to fire the shotgun. I notice you got eye and ear protection.
Yes, sir.
We're ready to go. I've got mine ready to go. But as long as you understand that MAT, Nick, let's pick this shotgun up, let's be comfortable with it, and let's walk up to the firing line.
Okay, and the firing line's right over here, so I'm going to pick this up, watching the muzzle, finger not on the trigger, walking right over here as a beginner. All right.
So here we are at the firing line. I know you were with Danny over at Archery, and he had you stand perpendicular to the field of fire.
Right.
But for shotgun, we're not going to do that. We've got a wide range of a field here that we've got to be able to hit targets on. So we're going to square our stance up a lot more. And we're going to be athletic. I like the stance that you got there. That front foot out a little bit forward.
Right.
A little bit more than half your weight setting forward. Go ahead and set the butt of that shotgun up into your shoulder and lock that cheek down onto that butt, staring down the muzzle, that range. From this point forward, Nick, I want your hands, your arms, your head, that shotgun, and your upper body to move as one.
Pull. Well, how about this for youth development? From archery to shotgun, Project Safe, and all with a positive, caring adult mentor. What an incredible time today. And through all this, I don't have any additional holes in me or any of us. So it's a good thing today. I got to give a shout out to Craven Hudson. Craven has been behind the scenes putting all this stuff together for us today, a 4-H specialist and shooting sports coordinator. Craven, thanks so much
You're
for that.
welcome.
And Brian, thanks so much for doing this with us today.
Time.
It was a blast, And while you're online, checking out some of the old Farm Monitor episodes and the Ranger Nick episodes, hop on over to the Farm Monitor Facebook page, check out the Ranger Nick Facebook page and all the stuff we got going on. And until next time, guys, as I always like to say, for the Farm Monitor, I'm Ranger Nick, reminding you that enthusiasm is contagious. So pass it on. Y'all, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you right back here again this time next month. See ya.
Like a little kid, isn't he? Hey, hope you enjoyed our reporter favorites of 2021. Here's to 2022 and even more incredible stories.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, everybody. We'll see you next time right here for another special edition of the Farm Monitor.
See you then.